consume news. Physical newspapers are stopped in many cities. Circulation collapse. Bharat Herald is 70-year-old legacy brand fell from 1.2 million daily copies to less than 560k. Company fighting for survival. Can this brand make a digital comeback?
Hello everyone, my name is Rita Naik. Today I am going to present my project Bharat Herald Media and Survival Analysis. This project is part of the Code Basic Resume Challenge, where the objective is to analyze the performance of Bharat Herald across point, ad revenue, digital engagement and readiness for relaunch. Next, let's begin with the introduction. Bharat Herald is one of India's oldest and most respected newspapers. For more 70 years, it was trusted by readers and advertisers with a peak circulation over 1.2 million copies. But in recent years, due to digital disruption and industrial changes, its growth has slowed down. Through this analysis, I aim to understand the reason behind this decline and suggest strategies to Bharat Herald make a strong digital comeback. Now that we have a brief introduction about Bharat Herald, let us look at the key challenges the organization is facing. Bharat Herald is a 70-year-old legacy newspaper that once had over 1.2 million copies in circulation. But between 2019 and 2024, circulation dropped to under 5,60,000 due to the pandemic and a first shift to digital news. Competitors like DG Hindi Post and InSource quickly adapted to mobile-first platforms, while Bharat Herald's own e-paper pilot failed. This led to a decline in advertiser confidence, financial losses, bureau closures and job cuts. Now the company is in crisis, and the goal of this analysis is to find out what went wrong, explore recovery opportunities and recommend a digital-first roadmap for survival. Having understood the problems, next steps to examine the data sources used for this analysis. I use Bharat Herald's operational and financial data sets from 2019 to 2024. These include print sales, advertisement revenue, digital pilot engagement data and city level readiness, metrics like smartphone adoption and internet penetration. Together, these datasets give us a comprehensive view of circulation trends, revenue shifts and digital adoption potential. Now I will explain the cities we covered in this analysis. In this project, I have focused on 10 key cities where Bharat Herald operates. These include Mumbai, Delhi, Ahmedabad, Varanasi, Jaipur, Patna, Ranchi, Bhopal, Kanpur and Lucknow. These cities were selected because they represent Bharat Herald's major readership markets and they also reflect different tiers of urban readiness, print circulation and digital adoption levels. By analyzing performance across these cities, we can clearly identify where circulation is declining fastest, where ad revenue are strong, and which cities are most ready for a digital relaunch. Now that we know the scope of cities covered, let's look at the business request. The first business request was to identify the top 3 months between 2019 to 2024 where any city recorded the sharpest month-over-month decline in net circulation. From the analysis, we found Varanasi was hit twice, in November 2019 and again in January 2021, with declines of over 55,000 and 59,000 copies respectively. Jaipur also faced a major drop in January 2020 with a decline of more than 51,000 copies. This clearly shows that Varanasi has been one of the most unstable markets for Bharat Herald. Now we can move to business request 2. The second business request was to identify ad categories that contributed more than 50% of total yearly ad revenue. This analysis showed that no single category crossed the 50% threshold in any year. The highest contributors were government and real estate ads, but even their shares remained in the range of 28% to 35% only. and FMCG and automobile are consistently contributed 15% to 25% each year. This shows that Bharat Herald's ad revenue is well diversified across categories, reducing dependency on any single sector. Now, move to the business request 3. The third business request was to rank cities by print efficiency in 2024. The results show that Ranchi leads with the highest print efficiency of 95.06%, followed by Ahmedabad and Patna, both above 94.6%. Jaipur and Varanasi complete the top 5. Overall, the top performing cities are tightly clustered in the 94.6 to 95% range, but Ranchi stands out slightly ahead. Now move to the business request 4. The fourth business request was to analyze the change in internet penetration from quarter to quarter 4 of 2021 for each city. The results show that Kanpur recorded the highest growth of 2.5%, followed closely by Mumbai and Ahmedabad. Delhi, Patna and Lucknow showed small but positive improvements. However, Ranchi and Bhopal experienced declines. Now, move to the business request 5. The fifth business request was to find cities where both net circulation and ad revenue strictly declined every year from 2019 to 2024. The analysis showed that no city experienced a completely consistent decline across all years. This indicates that Bharat Herald's decline is not irreversible. Now we move to the business request 6. The sixth business request was to find the city with the highest readiness score but among the bottom 3 in digital engagement. The analysis showed that Kanpur, despite having the highest readiness score of 75.23, had one of the lowest engagement levels. This makes Kanpur a clear outlier. It has the right infrastructure and literacy levels, but user adoption was very weak. Welcome to my dashboard on the media and survival analysis of Bharat Herald. In this dashboard, I have focused on 4 key areas: print performance overview, ad revenue performance, digital performance, readiness and relaunch prioritization. This agenda will help us connect the past decline with future opportunities. Now we move to the print performance overview page. On this first page, at the top, we can see the main KPIs: 219 million copies sold, 12 million copies returned and net circulation of 207 million. The overall print efficiency is 94.6%, which means almost 95% of printed copies are actually circulated. Under we can see the last year change percentage. If I apply the year filter, it automatically updates and I can also compare with last year to see the percentage change. For example, when I select a specific year, I can quickly check whether copies sold or net circulation went up or down compared to the previous year. Now we can see here. On the left table, I can check circulation by year and city. Now in the middle, this line chart shows the trend of copies sold and net circulation over the years. We can clearly see a steady decline from 2019 to 2024. On the right, this donut chart shows circulation by language. Hindi accounts for around 77% while English contributes only 23%, which highlights Bharat Herald's dependence on Hindi readership. At the bottom, this bar chart compares copies sold and net circulation by city. We can see that Jaipur, Varanasi and Mumbai have the highest sale, while cities like Lucknow and Ranchi are the lower end. Overall, this page tells us that print circulation is consistently declining and returns are reducing efficiency, which explains why print alone cannot sustain the business. Now we can move to the ad revenue page. We can see here at the top, we see 3 main KPIs. This total ad revenue is 2.16 billion and ad revenue per copy is 10.42 and an average return percentage is 5.4%. This trend line shows total ad revenue from 2019 to 2024. We see a dip in 2020, recovery in 2021 and 23, but the overall growth is still unstable. When I switch the toggle to ad revenue per copy, we see a clear upward trend. We can see from 9.1 per copy in 2019 to 12.4 in 2024. This means although total revenue is unstable, the efficiency per copy is improving year by year, which is a positive sign. On the right, we can see the return percentage distribution by city, showing almost similar levels across markets. Below, the category-wise chart shows government and real estate ads dominate revenue, while automobile and FMCG contribute less. The city-wise chart shows Patna, Bhopal and Mumbai generate the highest ad revenues, but when we look at ad revenue per copy by city, we see Lucknow is the most efficient at 17.7, while Varanasi is at the lowest, only 6.9. So the key takeaway is overall ad revenue is struggling, but revenue per copy is improving, and certain cities like Lucknow are much more efficient compared to others. Now we can move to the digital. In this page, we can see at the top, total digital investment is 12 million, and user reached 1 million and download 683k. The engagement rate is 55%, but we also see a high bounce rate 66% and drop up rate is 44%, which means many users are not staying active. Looking at the monthly engagement trend, in the left side, engagement was very low in March and April. Then it recovered and finally December reached the highest at 74% engagement. Below that, in platform-wise user adoption, we see that the mobile app beta and PDF WhatsApp push reach the most users, but only about half of those users actually download the content. On the right, the platform performance table gives more details. The mobile app had the best engagement at 62%, while the e-paper and responsive web version are struggling with lower engagement and higher bounce rates. City-wise, Lucknow, Delhi are leading in digital engagement, both above 63%, while Mumbai is at the bottom with just 57%. Finally, this scatter chart compares engagement with bounce rate. Ideally, we want platforms to have high engagement and low bounce, but here most platforms still have high bounce rates, showing a need to improve user retention. Now we can move to the readiness and relaunch prioritization. Now we can see that in this page at the top, readiness score is 68%, literacy rate is 76%, engagement rate is 55% and print decline is 25%. Together, these factors show which cities are better prepared to move from print to digital. In the city prioritization matrix, each city is scored on readiness, engagement and print decline. Cities like Kanpur, Ranchi and Patna come out with the highest priority scores, meaning they are strong candidates for phase 1 of the relaunch. The readiness ranking bar chart confirms this. Kanpur, Varanasi and Lucknow are among the top cities in readiness, while Delhi and Jaipur are the bottom due to weaker digital readiness. At the bottom left, the scatter plot shows engagement versus print decline. Here we can see which cities are losing print leadership quickly but at the same time have higher digital engagement. These are the best opportunities for digital adoption. On the right, the readiness factors chart breaks down the literacy, smartphone penetration and internet access by city. For example, Lucknow has very high literacy and smartphone usage, making it highly ready, while Delhi scores lower on smartphone and internet penetration, which is surprising. So overall, this analysis tells us that Kanpur, Ranchi, Patna, Varanasi and Lucknow should be the first priority cities for Bharat Herald's digital relaunch. From this dashboard, we can derive several important key insights that reveals the underlying issues and opportunities. Now let me share the key insights from this analysis. Print decline. Between 2019 and 2024, copies sold have dropped from 41 million to 31 million.
This shows a steady decline in print demand. Print efficiency. Even though demand is falling, efficiency is very high at around 95%. This means operations are well managed but customers are leaving the product. Ad revenue has been unstable. It peaked in 2023 but started falling again in 2024. However, ad revenue per copy is rising. This means advertisers are paying more for each circulated copy, but the total audience size is shrinking. Around 60% of ad revenue comes from just two categories, government and real estate. This heavy dependence on a few categories is risky for the future. Digital pilot. The company invested 12 million in digital initiatives, but engagement is still weak. Engagement rate is only 55%, with high bounce rates at 65% and drop-off at 45%. This shows users are trying digital but not staying active. City readiness. Cities like Kanpur, Lucknow and Varanasi have strong readiness, meaning high internet and smartphone usage, but the actual engagement in digital platform is still low. This gap is a major opportunity for growth. So overall, print is shrinking and revenue is unstable and digital adoption is still not strong enough. That's why a clear digital relaunch strategy is required. Based on this insight, here are my key recommendations. Print optimization. We should reduce print operation in cities with very low net circulation, like Lucknow and Ranchi. Instead, we should redirect those resources into digital first growth. Ad revenue diversification. Right now, most revenue comes from government and real estate ads. To reduce these risks, we should also target FMCG automotive with flexible digital ad packages. Digital strategy strengthening. We need to focus on user retention. That means redesigning the app and website to reduce bounce rate and adding loyalty programs like daily streaks or subscription rewards. We also need to push WhatsApp and mobile app adoption, but with more personalized and regional content. Analytic-based targeting will help us convert downloads into active readers. Subscription bundles. A combined offer of print, e-paper and mobile app can retain loyal readers and slowly move them into digital. Improve engagement by adding interactive features like polls, quizzes, news alerts and WhatsApp delivery. We can keep readers more active and connected. Print cost control. Even though efficiency is high, we must keep monitoring returns and waste very closely to minimize losses. City relaunch prioritization. Cities like Kanpur, Varanasi and Lucknow should be our first phase for digital relaunch because they have high readiness. But we must also run aggressive campaigns here to fix engagement issues. Cities like Delhi and Jaipur should be delayed until infrastructure and literacy gaps are addressed. In summary, this action will help stabilize ad revenue, improve digital adoption and prepare the company for a strong relaunch. After analyzing the issues and planning recommendations, I have designed a phased digital relaunch strategy for Bharat Herald. This approach is divided into 3 stages. Phase 1, pilot and fix gaps, 0 to 3 months. We start by relaunching in 2-3 top cities like Kanpur and Ranchi. The main focus here is to reduce bounce rate and drop-offs and to collect direct feedback from pilot users. This will help us fix problems early. Phase 2, growth and rotation, 3 to 9 months. Next, we expand by introducing bundle subscription that combine print, e-paper and mobile apps. We also launch local language features and push notification to keep readers engaged. And this stage, improving customer support for digital users becomes very important. Phase 3, scaling up, 9 to 18 months. Once we learn from the pilot and yearly growth, we expand the model to more cities. We introduce loyalty programs, micro subscription and student offers to attract and retain different customer groups. At the same time, we partner with advertisers to launch city-based targeted campaigns. Overall, this phased approach helps Bharat Herald move from fixing basic gaps to achieving steady growth and finally to scaling successful in the digital space.
Our analysis shows that print demand is steadily declining, ad revenue is unstable, and digital adoption is not yet strong enough. But with the right strategy, Bharat Herald can turn this challenge into an opportunity. By optimizing print, diversifying ad revenue, and strengthening our digital platforms, we can build a strong foundation. And through a phased digital relaunch, starting with pilot cities and gradually expanding, Bharat Herald can secure its position in the digital fast news economy. And thank you for your time and attention.